Hello, my name's Alexander Martineos. This is my channel where I talk about international affairs and geopolitics. Today, I wanted to talk about Scotland having a referendum to potentially leave the United Kingdom and its implications for international affairs and geopolitics. So for those of you who don't know, the United Kingdom is a country that consists of four nation states. There's England, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. And there's an agreement between the Republic of Ireland and the United Kingdom where effectively the British and the Irish there's the Good Friday Agreement where they can live and work in either country quite easily. So the Scottish, a few years prior, voted very narrowly to stay within the United Kingdom. They could have voted to leave, but they voted to stay. And since then, the United Kingdom has voted for Brexit, and they voted to leave the European Union. The aftermath of that has been quite convoluted, with a series of rotations of prime ministers trying to figure out the best way to navigate what that exactly means for the British people and everything. So it's been quite crazy, but the Scottish uniquely wanted to stay within the European Union. The Northern Irish wanted to stay in the European Union too. But the Scottish really wanted to stay in the EU, and England and the rest of the United Kingdom wanted to leave. So except for London and I think Wales, it was a bit more divided about if they wanted to leave or stay. But for example, like all of England voted to leave the European Union except for London, basically. So they voted to leave, and there were some pretty big drawbacks to that. And the Scottish feel like they got forcibly removed from the European Union, which they technically did. And so they've renewed a discussion about the Scottish potentially leaving the United Kingdom because they could potentially re-enter the European Union, for example. Now, it isn't exactly clear that if the Scottish vote to leave the United Kingdom, they could easily seamlessly transition into the EU. So that's kind of a big drawback. If they leave the United Kingdom, they'll be completely isolated with no for sure guarantee that they could enter the European Union. And the other thing is that Scotland is in the United Kingdom, which is in NATO. So if Scotland votes to leave the United Kingdom, they would have to reapply to NATO as well. So with NATO and the European Union, if any one country determines that they don't want that one other country to enter into the European Union or NATO, then they can just stop it effectively. Like Turkey is doing with Sweden and Finland right now, stopping Sweden and Finland's access to NATO because Turkey is in NATO. Turkey isn't in the European Union. But for example, if Hungary or some have speculated Spain could take issue with Scotland entering the European Union. So if any one of the countries in the European Union decided that they didn't want Scotland in the EU, they could simply stop it. So there are some trade-offs, some good things and bad things about Scotland potentially getting independence from the United Kingdom. My understanding is they're quite financially dependent on the United Kingdom. Like they do most of their trade with the United Kingdom right now. So I think it would be a bit of a risky gamble to leave the United Kingdom without any assurance that you can seamlessly transition into the EU, for example. But the bigger issue is here that if Scotland leaves the United Kingdom, they would leave NATO, and the British, they have their nuclear submarines in a part of Scotland. That's like a really great place to put nuclear submarines. And the channel between Scotland and Iceland and Greenland, it's really important to access the Atlantic. The Russians, which NATO is basically to keep Russia in place, the Russians have submarines and they have ships in northeast Eurasia, near Karelia, I believe. And if they wanted to come around Scandinavia and get into the Atlantic, where they could potentially cause some issues for the West, then they would need to go through the waterways that go through Scotland and Iceland and Greenland. So Scotland is a really important part of NATO because cooperating with Scotland in order to protect the Atlantic is quite vital to NATO ensuring that Russia can't access the Atlantic. And also the British might need to find another place to house their nuclear submarines. That doesn't mean that they're not going to have nuclear submarines anymore, but they need to put them in a different spot now, which could be problematic. And it might work out that they need to find a not so great place to put their nuclear submarines. We don't know. But those are my thoughts about Scotland potentially leaving the United Kingdom and the implications for the West and European Union and NATO. So leave a comment and like and subscribe if you like what I'm doing. Leave a comment, give me some suggestions. I'm still new to this, so I'm still learning, but I'm trying to come up with good content every day for you, every so often for you guys to appreciate. So thank you so much, guys. Have a great day.